Hi, everybody. First Alert Meteorologist Scott Gagliardi here with your First Alert Weather Extra on this Friday morning. It is a very nice start out there. We have temperatures that are climbing through the 60s, even a few 70s already. The humidity levels, they're much lower, though, than they were yesterday and much lower than they're going to be coming up for next week. We're talking temperatures that will be climbing well up into the 90s with dew points, well up into the 70s. As far as today, though, it is day 2 of the TPC, or I should say of the Travelers Championship over at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell. It is a very nice day out there. Notice the camera shaking around a bit, though. We have a bit of a breeze out there. It's sustained anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour all across the state and gusting already in some cases to near 30. Along the shoreline, New Haven, 73 degrees already. Notice some of the white caps, though. It's definitely a breezy day. We'll call it downright windy at times. You can see that. Look it up at Bradley. I mean, that wind is sustained at the west at 18, but gusting up and over 30 already. We've seen throughout the morning winds gusting to near 30. Along the shoreline in New London, it's 70 degrees. You can see those flags flapping around in the wind, though. If you're heading out, maybe you're going to Block Island or Long Island, any of the islands, likely a day where you're going to want to be inside the ferry as opposed to the outside because it will be very, very windy. Temperatures climbing through those 70s. The warm spot in New Haven, you're 73. Everybody else, lower 70s, mid and upper 60s for some of the hill towns. And parts of Litchfield County, you'll struggle to get out of the 70s today, but really, really enjoy that because we're talking by next week, the air temperature, 95 to 100. It feels like temperatures 105 to maybe as high as 110. You really don't see that often here in Connecticut. And we're talking multiple days of heat like that. Dew points, they're fine now, but that's the second half of the story for next week. Those dew points climbing well up into the 70s. Yeah, it's the combination of the heat and humidity going to make it dangerous to be outside for an extended period of time. Now, your wind speeds, notice everybody gusting, or these are sustained winds in Bridgeport, you're 21 miles per hour. Let's check in on your winds gusts. Yeah, already up and over 30. You just saw Windsor Locks. Right now, those wind speeds, 35 miles per hour. And they continue through most of the day today. I'm sure that will have an impact on some of the gameplay in Cromwell later today for that Travelers Championship. Notice your winds, they stay elevated. They taper off once we get past sunset. Today, though, 83 degrees in Cromwell. It's a very, very nice day. As a spectator, might be on the tougher side if you're one of the players because of that wind, but still a couple clouds maybe. Other than that, it is mostly sunny and a beautiful end to the week. Technically, summer comes in tonight, about 14 hours from now at 10:41 p.m. Still technically considered the longest day of the year, but tomorrow, the first full day of summer. Across the Northeast, we see a system to the north spinning, say, in about Burlington, Vermont area, but that's all heading to the north, and it will stay north of Connecticut. We have a couple clouds out there this morning. Those will begin to thin out, and we're looking at mostly sunny skies throughout the day today. As far as the heat, though, notice just off towards the west, they've actually been extended to now include New Jersey and parts of Pennsylvania. Extreme heat watches, and it's not for anything today, tomorrow, it's next week already that they're issuing these extreme heat watches. There is very high confidence in this kind of heat, and likely here in Connecticut, we'll see those extended locally. This National Weather Service certainly wanting to get the story out there of how hot and how dangerously hot these conditions will be next week. And as mentioned, for an extended period of time. So our first alert weather day, I don't want to discount Sunday. That's still going to be a very hot day, but it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that the heat peaks. We're talking record heat combined with the high levels of humidity makes the feels like temperatures or the heat index feel like not just 100 or 105, but in some cases, near 110. That is just, it's not something we really see that often here in Connecticut, mostly because it's very difficult to get that hot and that humid at the same time. It's really going to be a combination that we haven't seen here that often. We've seen it a couple times over the last, say, 120 years, But let's take a look at one of our computer models that shows us kind of how hot things could be. So here's Monday. Feels like temperature. So not the actual air temperature, but what it feels like to your exposed skin if you step outside. 100 to 105. Look at that. Along, say, I-84, Danbury, feeling like 102. These are not numbers. I mean, this is what when I worked in Florida and lived in North Florida, this is what we would see. And it's extremely hot. And you get these heat index values up and over 100 degrees. But look at this. Tuesday, it's even hotter. 106 is what the feels like temperature could be in Hartford. That is a situation where you do not want to be outside for any type of extended period of time, not even close to that. You don't even want to walk to your mailbox to get the mail in weather that's hot. That's that hot. Even along the shoreline, New Haven could feel like 105. I mean, this is quite the heat wave, and to be the first one, we're hoping it's not a signal to the rest of the summer. Dew points. This is the other half of the story, because by Sunday, downright oppressive humidity levels well up into the 70s, and it stays very humid through Wednesday before we get some relief beyond that. Now, your heat risk map for Sunday, it's major, those red shadings. But look what happens by Monday. The extreme heat comes close to Connecticut, even in some of the northwestern hills. But you just saw the numbers that we're forecasting. Very, very hot. Major to extreme heat here in Connecticut, Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday. Now, as far as 100 degrees, this is all logistics, because at the end of the day, it's going to feel well over 100 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and likely into Wednesday as well. But in terms of the thermometer, it reached 100 degrees. The last time was 1964, and did it once again in 1952. That's just in the Hartford area. But yeah, look at that, 99 and 4 years ago? But we're forecasting 100 on Tuesday. So just unbelievable to think of all the Junes that have seen 100 degrees since 1905. What's that, 120? And we've only seen it on 2 occasions. Wild, wild stuff. First look at future cast. There's a couple chances for a shower or storm along the way. I'm going to show you those. So here's tonight at 8 p.m. Nothing to show before then, so we're fast forwarding until that time. But once you get towards the overnight hours and tomorrow morning, maybe a couple showers. It's really not a big deal. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder as well as 9 a.m. But once we get towards the afternoon hours, everything's just fine. And then by Sunday, we'll say Sunday morning. This is the overnight hours. So after midnight on Saturday and basically around sunrise on Sunday, we'll have a system riding along a warm front. So a very odd trajectory, I guess you could say. Looking at northwest to south and southeast. I mean, this is in Syracuse and Albany and New York, upstate New York, and it will reach us here in Connecticut. Here's 3 a.m. Here's around 6. And notice how this one computer model run wants to weaken this line of, which that could be pretty strong thunderstorms. It really holds itself together, and it's difficult to do throughout the overnight hours. But when you see warm fronts this time of year, even overnight, you can have thunderstorms sustain themselves for an extended period of time. We won't get into too much of the technical reasons behind that, but it's possible that we see some strong thunderstorms overnight, Saturday night into Sunday. We're going to keep a close eye on it because, as mentioned, this computer model wants to keep things to the west. The strongest activity, previous runs, and other computer models want to bring it right over Connecticut. So we'll keep a close eye. Either way, it looks like a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, say through the noon hour on Sunday. But once we get past that, the big weather story, it's going to be all that heat. There's the chance, as you just saw, for some severe weather. This is Sunday morning, right now at level 1. But it's to see a setup like that, we're going to keep a very close eye on it, put it that way, because things could change and not for the better. As far as wet weekends, if we see any rain this weekend, which there's a couple chances, but if we see any, this would be our 17th consecutive weekend seeing at least some type of precip, at least a trace. Forecast highs today. Notice how we're struggling to get out of those 70s in the Northwest Hills. Everybody else low to mid 80s. It's a windy day, though. It's comfortable, though. Forecast lows into the 60s. That breeze finally subsides, keeping a couple clouds around. But your first alert 7-day forecast, the heat really starts to crank by Sunday. Tomorrow, It's a nice day, besides maybe a spot shower first thing in the morning, especially western Connecticut, 88 degrees. Sunday, those storms early, likely day one of our at least 4-day heat wave. Temperature 91 degrees. Last day of the TPC. It's going to be a hot one. Monday, 98 degrees. An overnight low. Monday night into Tuesday, 75. First alert weather days continue on Tuesday when we are forecasting 100 degrees. The century mark here in Connecticut. Can't remember the last time we forecasted an actual 100, but I'm going to have to look into that. And then look at that temperature. Wednesday morning starting off near 80. That's wild. That's some Florida-like weather. And even this is 100 degrees. That's even extreme on that end. Wednesday, also a first alert weather day, 95. Feels like temperatures 100 to 110. Really hoping to break up this trend on Thursday. Some thunderstorms possible later in the day. There's look your shoreline high temperatures. Don't think you're getting any relief at the beaches next week. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, 94, 95 degrees. But once again, that humidity makes it feel like up and over 100. All right, that's your first alert forecast. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.